So one of the things that's bugged me about this setup is how long this Hayward hose is. And I've had a couple times now where this pump sucks so much water that it has actually taken and kinked this thing flat like that. So I decided I'm getting a better hose, and it has a slightly better diameter. If you can see this, it's what they call a spa and hot tub hose. Now it's you know, it's the same dimensions on this. It's 1.5 inch, I believe, on the inside, and I think they call it 2 inch on the outside. But the inside diameter is what we're worried about here, and it has this sort of spiral round look to the outside, almost like there was a spring, but it's actually just the way the plastic is formed. Get this at Home Depot for about $5, a little over, plus or minus a foot, and it gives a much better flow because it's smooth on the inside versus the ribbed look of the Hayward. So considering that when this thing is feeding the pump, this is just gravity feeding here. So I want to make a shorter one, and I want it to be as smooth and easy flowing as possible. So we're going to replace this Hayward with that spa hose. So the first thing, of course, is shut off my valves so I don't lose all my water. And also over here on the part where it flows back into the pool, make sure that is in the off position, because water can flow out of both of them. It's supposed to be free flowing, and it is. And now that we have all this loose, we can disconnect the hose clamp. Get this hose off. Of course, you still want to use this clamp if it will work, because we want it for the new hose. Just barely. There we go. So it slips freely. I can push this up. No, that's not coming off. Especially notice once we add this hose clamp to it. Bring that around so everybody can see what I'm doing. We know this hose is going to free flow the water, which is really just running in through gravity, a whole lot better than that old hose. Of course, next thing is to remove the other end of the hose. And this, of course, has to be angled the other way. So again, get our hose clamp set up correctly. Pressed on there, get as hard as possible. Don't want to have any leaks if we can help it. Take down the hose clamp again. Now we know that this is going to flow nice and free, and I don't think this pump can pull this. I don't think that pump can suck that hose flat. Be very surprised. This stuff is made for jacuzzis and stuff. If you ever look on the back side of the tub, This is the type of hose they're using there. And then while I'm at this, I think this Intex style hose that runs here is a lot longer than it needs to be. So I'm going to supply a shorter one. So right here is a comparison. You can see the difference in the length between the old Haywood hose, which is a little bit narrower, and this new Spa hose, which could even be shorter. I might cut it off, but for now I'm just going to use it the way it is because I like the way it makes a nice easy curve. Stuff doesn't want to bend, it is rigid. But that Haywood hose, you can just see how much longer, and I know I was losing some flow because of that. So you can see the difference in the length between these two hoses. The longer one is what I was using before to go from the sand filter to the chlorinator, and now you can see probably lost about a foot. One of the things I did do here is I changed, as you can see, the angle that hose coming out of the pump going into the sand filter is at. It runs a little bit more around the corner, but that's a pressure hose. That's not going to kink, and that just made the flow easier, so I wasn't feeling like I was straining any of those couplings on that Intex 40mm hose. Goes down to the saltwater chlorinator. And now, moment of truth, of course, turn it all on, see if it leaks. First part of your leak check is just simply turn your valves on. Let the water flow back in. You're bubbling and filling. Same thing on the other side. And with that, I know it's ready to go here. Let's start the pump. Oh, we've got no water spraying anywhere we don't want. That's always a good sign. You see here the filter dome on the pump purging itself with air bubbles. And see up there inside the skimmer. Based on the angle of that door, it's flowing more water than it has before. That's simply, I got rid of about 2 feet of hose. I got a slightly larger diameter hose right there. Nice easy flow instead of that restricted pinched off one. And got rid of about another foot right there. And with that, we now have an easier flow. And that will of course come around to where it returns to the pool. Feel the pressure here, and yeah, it's definitely doing better. So there we go. How to make your system flow easier by reducing the length of the hoses.